Recording in progress.
Good afternoon and welcome to the, I am even stunned at what date it is, Thursday, June 13th, 2024 meeting of the Accessible Transportation Strategic Task Force. And it looks like everybody is ready to go. Would you please call the roll?
I'd first like to share the video,
Oh.
if I may, please.
That would be great.
Thank you, and then we'll
very
do roll
much.
call.
Yeah.
This meeting will be conducted as a Zoom webinar to allow for public participation and comments. The Contra Costa Transportation Authority does not condone hate speech in any form. We continually strive to make life better for all members of our community and create an atmosphere where everyone feels a sense of safety and belonging. We ask that anyone who wishes to speak does so with civility, respect, and kindness for others. Citizens will have 3 minutes to speak. It is requested that public speakers state their names and organizations, but providing such information is voluntary. Citizens participating in person wishing to speak should submit a public speaker card to the clerk. Citizens participating by Zoom wishing to speak should use the raise hand feature or dial *9 if participating via phone, and the chair or staff will call upon them at the appropriate time. Written public comments received in accordance with the teleconferencing special notice on the meeting agenda will be provided to the members. If authors of the written correspondence would like to speak, they should raise their hand in Zoom or submit a public speaker card, and the chair will call upon them at the appropriate time. All written correspondence received after that and during the meeting will be entered into the record. Thank you for participating in a meeting of the Contra Costa Transportation Authority.
Thank you. And now, Jackie, would you please take the roll call?
Member Barnes?
Present.
Member Burgess?
Here.
Thank you. Member Braxton? Member Carlson? Member Franklin?
Here.
Member Horta? Member Kelly?
Here.
Member Levin? Member McCrary?
Here.
Member Meyer?
Here.
Member Nestor Brush?
Present.
Member Sauce? Member Thompson?
Present.
Member Toth?
Here.
Member Xavier?
Here.
Vice Chair Haskew?
Here.
Thank you. We have all members present. We do have quorum. However, members Braxton, Carlson, Horta, Levin, and Sauce are absent.
Thank you. I would like to welcome Member Kelly to the committee. She was appointed by the Authority Board meeting, and so this is her first official ATSP Task Force Committee meeting. Welcome. Next item on the agenda is public comment. Do we have any?
I've received no written public comment, and there are no hands raised.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is the election of the chair and vice chair. Are there any nominations? Please.
I nominate Luella Haskew as chair and Chris Kelly as vice chair.
I second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. I think we still need a roll call vote. So would you please do that?
Thank you. Member Barnes?
Yes.
Member Burgess?
Absolutely yes.
Member Braxton? Member Carlson? Member Franklin?
Yes.
Member Horta? Member Kelly?
Yes.
Member Levin? Member McCrary?
Yes.
Member Meyer?
Yes.
Member Nestor Brush?
Yes.
Member Sauce? Member Thompson?
Yes.
Member Toth?
Yes.
Member Xavier?
Aye.
Vice Chair Haskew?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes unanimously with members Braxton, Carlson, Horta, Levin, and Sauce absent.
Thank you. Thank you very much. This is an important committee to me, and I really appreciate your vote of confidence and your patience, because I'm going to screw up like crazy. Okay, so the next we have is the consent calendar, which is the Accessible Transportation Strategic Plan Task Force Summary of Actions from February 8th. Any comments? May I have a motion to accept it?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call vote.
Member Barnes?
Yes.
Member Burgess?
Yes.
Member Braxton? Member Carlson? Member Franklin?
Yes.
Member Horta? Member Levin? Member McCrary?
Yes.
Member Meyer?
Yes.
Member Nestor Brush?
Yes.
Member Sauce? Member Thompson?
Yes.
Member Toth?
Yes.
Member Xavier?
Aye.
Vice Chair Kelly?
Yes.
And Chair Haskew.
Yes, thank you very much. And now we're on to our regular agenda items. The first regular agenda item is an action item for approval to recommend that the board approve the implementation of a countywide travel training program, and it is presented by Rashida Kamara.
Thank you, Chair Haskew and Commissioners. So what I have for you today is a project that was identified under the HESP study, and that was the need for a countywide travel training program. What we have is a presentation regarding the format under which we want to roll out this program. Currently, there is a travel training program that's being performed by WICTAC, but it's a seasonal program, and it mostly targets individuals that are with El Cerrito and also with the city of San Pablo. Missing in this program is WestCat. Also missing in this program are residents that are serviced by East County, which is Tri-Delta. And so as a result, it was identified as a need in the Accessible Strategic Transportation Plan. And so we have proposed through the working group and the different partners to roll a countywide travel training program by leveraging some of the existing programs so as to save money and using Measure J funds. So this slide shows that structure. Currently, County Connection has a travel training program in which they use a third party, Independent Living Resources. That's the vendor. Independent Living Resources will then work with satellite vendors, one being servicing West County. They already have a Central County under Transpac, and East County, Tri-Delta. Tri-Delta has a lot of programs, and we feel that the use of countywide travel training will not only leverage the existing programs, but allow people to travel in and out of the county with the additional travel options that are there for them. So it is a new pilot for implementation. It was identified in the ATSP. As I mentioned, County Connection is running a pilot, will run the pilot, and they'll run it for a year. Independent Living Resources of Solano, which is currently doing the County Connection one, will continue as a vendor. There'll be 3 satellite sites, and travel trainers will work with riders through the satellite offices. We're yet to determine how much office space we may need. We might have to share office space with Independent Living Resources, and some of those details are still being worked out. Though it is being modeled over the successful WICTAC program that services San Pablo and El Cerrito. In fact, as we were researching some of the travel training program, Rosa, who is the accessible manager for County Connection, and I, we actually visited and went through the actual travel training program with WICTAC. And if everybody remembers Joanna Pollock and Janet, they were the ones that operated that program, and frankly, they did a wonderful job. But as I mentioned earlier, it was seasonal. And so we certainly need people to be educated on all the transportation options that they have. They can't just be limited just because the only thing they know is paratransit. So the satellite sites, West County, Central County, East County. Funding, West County, the Measure J funds, as I mentioned earlier, there are some Measure J funds that are already being used under the current WICTAC program, and also their Measure J funds through Transpac grant that are being used for Central County. What we want to do is take Measure X funds to leverage that as we continue the program and expand it throughout the county. So the draft scope of work will be CCCTA managing and overseeing the program through the Independent Living Resources Center. Because they already have an existing program, one of the objectives of the ATSP and the Office of Accessibility and Equity is not only to leverage existing resources, but also leverage existing talent and also leverage existing labor. And so that was the whole idea or the premise of actually creating and building on something that already exists. So there'll be at least 3 satellite site offices, as we mentioned earlier, and the funding sources are coming from all 3 of these funding pools. So there'll be a peer exchange of the program administration. Partners and trainers will need to meet at least on a quarterly basis so they can discuss their findings of the program. Part of some of the data points that we're going to be looking for is to see even the structure that we're proposing is actually going to work long-term. They're also going to exchange information on different outreach options, what outreach options have been successful, what training methodologies have been successful or not. And 3CTA or CCCTA, County Connection, will develop post-training evaluation materials. CCTA will be working closely. Let me just go ahead and call us CCTA and call them County Connection. Thank you. So, because nobody likes the two. Yeah, nobody likes the 2s and nobody likes the 3s, so I'll go ahead and call them County Connection. So CCTA will work with County Connection to help them to develop evaluation materials and also marketing materials for the purpose of this effort. And that ends my presentation. With that, we're asking for approval to implement a countywide travel training program as outlined. And I'll take questions.
Okay, well, I have several hands. I'm going to start at my far left with Ben Franklin, please.
Thank
Bob
you.
Fang.
Thanks. Is this a classroom training, or do you take them on a bus or BART or?
So we're going to be using, we're going to be using all methodologies. Part of the pilot is to see which of those methodologies is most successful. We are planning on doing classroom training. We're planning on taking them on BART. We're planning on taking them also on the fixed route services. And we're also planning on showing them how to use different apps so that they can use things like Uber and Lyft. And depending on where they live, making sure that they're acquainted with the other types of programs that exist, like city-based programs, like La Marinda Spirit is a program specific to that area. So helping them see whether they qualify for it and also leveraging those types of resources so that on any given day, when they wake up and they know that they have access to fixed route, whether it's the bus or whether it's the rail or whether it's paratransit, they'll be able to make their transportation decision based on all the options that they have available to them.
Okay, and also you can contact me if you want an authorization letter for free travel at BART for training purposes.
Excellent, thank you, we like that. Yeah.
A penny saved is a penny earned.
Yes, it is, thank you very much.
I'm so using that forever, thank you. I think it's important to just add a little bit of background to what is travel training and why do we have travel training, and that travel training does actually exist as an independent living center mandated program because it has a history of allowing people with disabilities to travel on the choice that works best for them. So it also has the positive benefit of offsetting some of the demand on paratransit because paratransit is the costliest and most intense, difficult service to provide for transit providers. So, but it also allows the flexibility for somebody who is eligible for paratransit but may like the idea that a fixed route bus is guaranteed to come at 10 o'clock at this stop every day. I know that I'm not going to wait a half an hour, where paratransit is allowed to be a half an hour beyond what the scheduled time was. So it does allow for the rider to make decisions how they wish to travel, be more independent. The in-person component of them shows them kinesthetically how they can accomplish this, and it's not just on paper. I love that you're adding the apps to it, but it functions as a person-centered support system for somebody who no longer can drive. They've either just become disabled, they are no longer seeing in a way that allows them to drive safely, or they have been disabled their whole lives, whatever the case may be. It gives them the tools physically and cognitively to be able to navigate what system works best for them. So I think that it's important to sort of lay that groundwork and understand that it is something that exists as a state-delivered benefit through the independent living centers, because it's something that at some point was found to be very helpful for people with disabilities. So I just wanted to provide a little bit of background. Thanks.
Next is you.
Thank you, thank you. I'm on the WICTAC board, so I've heard a lot about travel training at WICTAC, and I think Janet Bilbis and Joanna Pollock really have some great things to share. They used kind of a classroom situation, and then they would go out into the real world on a nice day. I think they wore pink vests so that the people who came along could always see them. And they did BART, and they did bus, and they even did the ferry. And that was really great. And as I recall, they went a lot to senior centers, churches or temples, trying to find people, you know, who would be interested. Because when you get that sense, if you can't drive, if you can go out and do this on your own, it really creates a lot of self-esteem and gives you a sense of freedom. One thing that I did suggest to Corey Riley at WICTAC, who is also involved in travel training, is maybe making some really short videos, Vimeos, that seniors can, or paratransit folks can watch, and that will help them get interested and excited and might teach them a few things too.
So just to speak to that, good news. We've actually already started working on a video. I just probably got my first estimate yesterday. We've already started storyboarding it. Our vision is to see a senior or even a paratransit rider, especially those that are conditionally eligible. I feel that this is a win-win situation. We certainly want more people to use fixed route service, but we also want paratransit to be more reliable. And so if we're able to split the difference, if somebody can get on there and say, look, I'm a paratransit user and I have the best of both worlds. You know, I can take paratransit because, you know, I need it because my disabling condition prevents me from using fixed route that particular day. But on their return ride, it's a sunny day out and they can say, you know what, today I can actually take fixed route and make use of it. Not only are the fixed route getting an increase in ridership, but as Debbie mentioned earlier, this person can make a decision, a confident decision about the best transportation choice that's available to them and actually helps them to get along with their daily life. So we are planning on putting a video out for that. In fact, you probably remember I've been trying to get you involved in trying to help me find individuals that will participate with me in the video. So we think that those will be very helpful so people can actually see real life people, real use cases of people using multi-modes of transportations to get around.
Yeah, and that, you know, those pictures, you know, will just really encourage people, particularly those who are wheelchair bound or need other means to help them get around, to show them that they can use transit. So that's great. Thank you.
Anybody over there?
Through the chair, if possible. Debbie, thank you for bringing up the fact about the paratransit costs, because that is something that definitely is on the rise, especially in East County. And how we manage that moving forward is going to be critical to be able to provide the services that are needed to our aging population. So with that said, you know, you mentioned it, Tri-Delta Transit has many different options, Try My Ride being one. That's an app-based program. So my question to you is, I'm assuming so, are you going to be working with the various operators to make sure that your staff or whoever the third party is understands all the different programs that are available in a given area?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Okay, just letting you know, I'm always terrified when I have to deal with a new form of transportation, and I'm getting older, and so I have this to look forward to, and I'm really appreciative of having a net to save me when I'm really scared. We are trying to ask for a
I
recommendation.
have my hand raised.
Oh, excuse me, I'm
Sorry.
so sorry, I can't tell that from here. Okay.
Okay. I don't want to, let me know if I need to let you know. I didn't want to interrupt and be rude. I have a question related to the location in East County. It said to be determined.
Correct.
And so, is that, a possibility that it would be located at Tri-Delta, or are you going to need another space?
It's a possibility. We're still having that discussion, or we might use another space.
And is this considered long-term or
The pilot will be for a year.
a year? Okay,
The pilot in this current form will be for a year. After the pilot is over, because we do intend to carry the countywide travel training program as a long-term resource for Contra Costa residents. But in its current structure, it'll be for a year.
okay. So you can work with my office and if, Rashidi's obviously there and he can, let me know how I can be supportive. I liked the idea of getting out to these different community senior groups and even working with like our Meals on Wheels folks to like really raise awareness about this, because like it was said earlier, unless you actually go out and do it, you're not going to feel confident doing it. So I like the idea of meeting people where they're at and helping open up the options that they may not even realize they have. So thank you for this presentation.
Thank you.
Bringing it back to Rashidi.
Thank you, Chair. What are going to be, if any, the KPIs? So how are we going to know that this is successful, what's going to justify in a year, to your point, moving forward for this to be permanent?
So our goal, as we put this out, our goal is to see how many people, first of all, individuals that actually participate, the format in which they participate in, how many of them actually go, whether it's 6 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, and are still using fixed route service or other forms of transportation services. Have they made use of the Uber app or the Lyft app? Have they made use of some of the other programs? Did they try My Ride? And if there are individuals also that have taken some of their trips instead of all of their trips with paratransit. Right now in Contra Costa County, and I'm pretty sure AC Transit and BART, none of you enforce trip-by-trip eligibility. So even though you have a percentage of your paratransit users that are conditionally eligible, basically meaning that they can use fixed route some of the time. But once you send them that letter and tell them that they can use fixed route some of the time, they never use fixed route some of the time. They book 100% of their trips on paratransit, and paratransit has not set up a mechanism to say, oh, by the way, the proverbial mod, you do know you can take this trip on fixed route. So we're going to be using some of these mechanisms to try to build that model out so that eventually somewhere down the line, hopefully not too far down the line, we will start actually seeing people start taking some of their trips with fixed route, but also the transit agencies getting comfortable in, not the word enforcing, but providing options, fixed route options for paratransit riders. I really don't like that word, enforcing trip-by-trip eligibility, but right now that's the lingo on the land.
I would just ask that somehow come back to this group and kind of show us those KPIs, because I think that type of information will be critical as we move forward, not only for operators to understand where the gaps are, but also what the successes are in this program.
For sure.
Okay. Did I skip you? No, I Oh, now you're inspired. Okay, go.
That's exactly it. Now I'm inspired. Brentwood City Council this year launched an Age and Disabilities Friendly Ad Hoc committee. So I would like to offer to partner in as far as outreach and making connections and working with staff in the senior center, anything that we can do to be helpful. And also, if there's any kind of communications that we can be included on, I'd love to have that happen too. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I like the way this is going.
I do
It's-
too.
Yes, oh, yeah. Have at it.
Thank you. Thanks, Rashida, for your report. I think it's important. There are a lot of activities going on at the regional level with regard to paratransit, and we now are having an opt-in to the regional transit discount card, which is fixed route. So when they come through for eligibility for paratransit, they can opt in, and so we're tracking that. And this is the referral that we would give these folks to travel training. And East Bay Paratransit actually received a 5-year grant to develop a travel training program for Alameda County.
Wow. Okay, I'm checking back with everybody that's here, and now I'm going to ask if there is any other public comment, or is Rita going to give us a comment?
There's no public comment, and I don't see any hands raised.
Okay, all right. The job is to approve the recommendation that the board approve the implementation of the et cetera and so forth. And I see somebody who is willing to make the recommendation.
I'm ready to move if Rita agrees to be one of the actors in the video that you make. She truly is like the poster child for giving up the keys and learning how to navigate the world without driving a car. So, yeah, anyway, I move.
Okay, we'll just assume she is. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All right. May I have a roll call vote?
Member Barnes?
Aye.
Member Burgess?
Yes.
Member Braxton? Member Carlson? Member Franklin?
Yes.
Member Horta? Member Levin? Member McCrary?
Yes.
Member Meyer?
Yes.
Member Nestor Brush?
Yes.
Member Sauce? Member Thompson?
Yes.
Member Toth?
Yes.
Member Xavier?
Yes, I couldn't unmute.
Thank you. Vice Chair Kelly?
Yes.
Chair Haskew?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes unanimously.
I was wondering if we interrupted Rita. Jackie?
No,
No. Okay. All right.
I was having a problem with my internet connection.
Oh, okay. Well, we're glad to have you back. Okay, item next.
My last name is Burgess, by the way.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'll remind her when it comes. The next item is update on Office of Accessibility and Equity, OAE timeline. I hate those letters. Are we ready? 2 seconds, okay.
Can everybody see the screen? Okay, great. So we're going to give some updates on some of the programs that have been approved through this committee. So one of the biggest things that we've been working on is the coordinating entity. So what we met with the working group, and the working group had recommended that we stop calling it the CE. We've been calling it the coordinating entity for about 2 years, at least 2 years. And so to actually call it the Office of Accessibility and Equity and start referring that. So this is something that was brought to the working group, and everybody was appreciative of it. The other thing that we wanted to talk about was to build out operation documents, plan staffing financing, marketing, and technology, and we're hoping to roll these out, at least present them to the working group somewhere between July and September. This is just a preliminary timeline. We still have things to work out, but we felt that because we were on a roll with the working group, the task force, and with the programs that we were rolling out, that we would start planning how to get on track with the actual opening of that office. So we're proposing that sometime in between October and December, that we will bring all of what we have put together to the CCTA board and potentially launch the Office of Accessibility and Equity, meaning an actual face, we are open for business somewhere between December and the first quarter of January 2025. One of the things that we're going to be launching, and I'll talk a little bit more about that, is the One Call, One Click call center. As we've rolled out some of these programs, I remember in a few presentations before that, we've had questions where, is there a phone number that somebody, can call to learn about this? So other than specific programs where you actually call maybe a transportation agency that's running a very specific program, the Office of Accessibility and Equity seems to be the office that you should call. And because we have not set up the One Call, One Click call center yet, no, there's not a number for you to call. So we're working diligently to put all of these pieces together. As you can see, there are quite a few steps to take before we officially open this office, but we thought we will share the timeline because we have not brought the Office of Accessibility and Equity to you in quite a few months, so we thought we'll share the timeline with you. Any questions regarding that?
I'm not seeing any hands. Is there anybody I'm talking slowly in case somebody changes their mind.
I'm going to say something. This is so exciting. That's all I have to say.
Okay, we have another hand. Go ahead, please.
Thanks, Rashida. I'm curious, is your intention with the One Call, One Click call center to assume reservation, scheduling, dispatch for the providers?
Absolutely.
So it's more information referral?
Correct.
Okay, just checking for the last time. Thank you very much. Do we have any public comment besides the supervisor?
No hands raised and no written public comment received.
All righty, then we're going to move on to the regular agenda item 5C, an informational update on the Strengthening Mobility and Revolutionizing Transportation, known as SMART, grant for the One Call, One Click Center, again, presented by Rashida Kamara.
So again, this is really exciting. It's a DOT award, and it's the SMART grant, Strengthening Mobility and Revolutionizing Transportation, and it was awarded to us because of our One Call, One Click call center efforts. And part of this award, it's a $1 million award, and part of this award is to for the technology piece. As mentioned earlier by Mallory, we will be using program referral, and passengers would need to know some of the best transportation choices that they have by using AI technology. By the way, just to let you know, this is a phase 1 and phase 2 award. The phase 1 is prototype. The second phase is actually implementation. So for the first phase, as they work with us when we set up the One Call, One Click call center, they'll be using that information in order for them to be able to develop a prototype. And so we are really excited that we are going to be having some funding because we're doing so many things here in Contra Costa County. We are prime for this type of research. So because we are collaborating with the different types of transportation agencies, we're developing all these different programs. So it's good to know. I just really foresee that when we start talking about travel training and giving people all of these options, how nice it is that they could actually have some kind of technology that maybe all of the options that they want is in the palm of their hand. By the way, I'm talking about phase 2, the end result of this. But at least phase 1, it allows us to build on what we're currently building and potentially giving passengers this option, and all of these options are either going to be web-based, so that when they call the office, we can actually help them, or it can be in the palm of their hand. So we're really excited that we have been chosen for this award. Some of you may not have made it, but maybe about 2 weeks ago, we had a media event in which we talked about a lot of the transportation options and innovative transportation programs that are happening in Contra Costa County, and the fact that we had this SMART grant. And so we are actually pouring into Contra Costa County when it comes to transportation for seniors and persons with disabilities. So that's just some exciting news that we thought we'd bring to you.
Yes, please, Chris.
Rashida, thank you very much, and I think this is very exciting. And when the SMART Award came out, we issued a press release about that, and I just went to the press release and clicked on ccta.net accessibility, and there's a website there that lists all of the different programs, because frankly, I can't keep it all straight in my own head. But the problem that I had is if I just go to the homepage for CCTA, I don't know how to find that. So that's why I went back to the press release. So maybe we could, somewhere on the homepage have a list of, important websites that people could access really easily and quickly. That would be great, a list.
And I agree. So Lindy and I, there are a lot of moving pieces, and they don't seem to be moving fast enough with and trying to keep up with what we're already doing. So for the past maybe month or so, Lindy and I have been working with our third-party website vendor. We have made some changes in preparation for the media release, but some of the things that we need to do is bring these things forward. So we do have not a long-term plan, but we do have a plan to work on our homepage where it features so people don't have to have so many clicks. One of the things that I work on as a transportation operator and working with the agencies, we actually have what we call triennial reviews, and some of the things that they look at are our websites and how accessible are our websites and how many clicks do people have to click on in order to get to vital information. So those are some of the things that I'm personally working here at CCTA to review, to make sure that our website that has accessible information, we don't have to dig too far to get them. So it actually is in the works.
That's great. I really appreciate that.
Debbie, did you raise your hand?
I did. I wanted to thank Chris for bringing that up, and I also want to say a few things. One is your website designer might be looking at clicks and how quickly you get to certain places, but if you are truly interested in accessibility for people with disabilities of the website, I have a recommendation for a disabled-owned website business, so if that comes up. I also want to note that I guess I'm asking for clarification. So we recommended that you move forward with the Office of Accessibility and Equity. That then goes to the CCTA board for a vote and gets approved?
So not yet. There's so many things that have to go. Right now, we're just mentioning the name. So
Okay.
we're going to stop calling it the CE, the coordinating entity.
So that's just operationally going to happen, but in terms of like launching that?
Yes.
Like, to Chris's point, you brought up that there was a press release or press event here. I'm really glad, no offense, that I wasn't here. It was 100 and some odd degrees. I love
know.
you, but the things like this that are happening in Contra Costa are rare. They're not happening in a lot of places. And we need to be lifting that and blasting that and doing press events, maybe not in person in 100+ degree weather, but like, so when this happens, that we actually brand officially, whatever that means, this Office of Accessibility and Equity, as Supervisor Burgess was so excited about, that we need to be pushing that. So Susanna pushes from Empowered Aging, and Debbie pushes from Choice in Aging, and you push from Vistability? Vistability, sorry, it was ARC for a long time. It's taken me a long time to get it right. But I think, too, that the transit agencies can be bragging about what they're doing and pushing this out. So there could be a lot of us really bragging about how we're doing this. And I think that that allows others to jump on board. And it also allows us who are working in advocacy and policy at the statewide level to start sort of showcasing to Caltrans to CalSTA, like what are we doing, the commission, Transportation Commission, like what are we doing in Contra Costa that should be being replicated elsewhere? So any opportunity for us to showcase what we're doing,
We should take.
Let's do.
Chris, please.
I would just like to, I'm an alternate now on WestCat, and I've been on WestCat for a long time. And in recent times, under Rob's leadership on social media, WestCat has a post there every single day about all of the different things that it's doing. And it really brings WestCat to the fore. So it's low-income fares, and it's, how to ride and how to get there. And that's just that constant, it's like branding, like seeing Coca-Cola everywhere, like I did when I was a kid. That really imprinted it in my head. So talk with Lindy about some marketing ideas.
Sure thing.
Through the chair. Piggybacking on what my fellow commissioners, I guess we are, said, we're focused on the future, and we're focused as a group. We're focused on what the next funding measure will look like. And so when what Debbie's talking about, it's not just for today. It's not just telling our story about today. It's setting the stage so that when we ask for money in 2036 or whatever it's going to be, people understand that for the last 10 years, we've been doing X, Y, Z in the county. And so I think it's important for this office, OAE, to magnify that along with our agencies to be able to promote what we're doing, because we are going to need additional funds moving forward. So let's just keep that in mind.
Okay, I'm checking. Is there any more public comment?
I don't see any hands raised, and no written public comment was received.
Okay, this is an information item only, and it apparently made people happy. Next item is the update on ongoing programs, San Pablo Medical One-Seat Pilot Program, Low-Income Fare Equity Program Expansion, and One Call, One Click Center. And imagine this, Rashida is going to make the presentation.
Everybody's schedule was tight. They're like, you're on your own, Rashida. So the San Pablo Medical One-Seat Pilot, it was approved, I think in February. So the pilot was created to provide direct shuttle rides from the city of San Pablo to medical facilities in Contra Costa County, specifically the Contra Costa Health Department. So the city of San Pablo began its marketing effort. Here's a copy of the flyer, but they have ran into some challenges. So their paratransit coordinator went on leave for a while, and that stalled things. They needed to hire a driver, and that stalled things. They finally made an offer to a driver to do this, because this is something that the shuttle services were going to be running 3 days a week. So they did need a full-time driver. And I'm hearing now, fortunately, I didn't just hear this from Jean Clark herself, but I'm starting to hear it from other individuals, and I have some transit agencies here. Background checks are running anywhere from 3 weeks to a month. 3 weeks to a month. And when you're hiring for part-time and you try to offer somebody a job, put them through classroom training, and you can't actually put them on the bus because their background check has not come back, it makes it extremely difficult. As a transit operator, from my many years of experience, that's the quickest way to lose. First, you work really hard to actually get them in the door, and then you put them through training. You have you lose about 50%, 60%, 50%. Maybe the number has changed. 50%, you hire 10, you're left with 5. By the time they go through background check and it comes back within 3 weeks, you're down to 3. So this is definitely something that Jean and I are working on, because we thought we would discuss some suggestions about potentially outsourcing it, even if it's just for 3 months, to get it started. And so once they actually hire somebody, then they can go and transition. So this is something that she's looking into. But in the meantime, she has made an offer, and the paratransit coordinator, she's hired a paratransit coordinator. Now she just actually has to get the driver in the door. So right now she's looking at sometime in July, but I'm going to be working, in fact, I am working with her to try to get this off the ground because we should have been operating this as early as April of this year. So we're a little bit behind schedule on that. The LIFE program, so Tri-Delta, they started theirs in April of 2023, and they had an extension. They continue with theirs as of the moment that we put this PowerPoint together. They actually took over from the Crisis Center with only 44. And I believe that was in October of last year. So this is hot. Very, very hot. And I hope my technology works for me right now because I'm going to play something for you. And this voicemail is the reason why I do what I do. Oh, it didn't work. Hold on a second. Where's my phone? Nobody's going home until we hear this voicemail.
It's worth the wait, just so you know.
Who said that? Who said it's worth the wait?
That's Diane.
Yeah, hold on a second.
It's definitely worth the wait.
I know we have not, we are all off script, but it's definitely worth the wait. Let's see if I can find this invoice. Hold on.
I hope Rashidi's smiling there. I can't see him, but I hope he's smiling.
I'm trying not to.
Somebody called Deanna. When did she send me this voicemail? Do you have access? Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Where's the voicemail? Is this it? Okay, let's see. Okay.
My name is Mrs. L.V. Weathersby.
Can you hear it?
I just want to let you know how appreciative I am to be in this low-income ticket program. I did get my ticket. I've been all over the place. Now that I have been going to San Francisco to the cancer hospital over there, that I really appreciate the traveling, which is necessary, that I stay very independent. And I go over there, and they come back, they pick me up at the BART station, and I am very, very pleased with the program. Again, I want to say thank you so much that I qualified for that. There's no reason for you to call me. I appreciate any program that qualifies me so I can get around without asking anyone, because people are not back at work. They're trying to maintain their household and keep their family together. Thank you so much again. 510-205-1022.
I don't know about everybody else, but I'm kind of choking up.
Yeah.
So, thank you for playing that.
Yeah.
Okay, on to next.
See, I'm going to start choking up too because over here talking about cancer and stuff. But anyway, for her, it gives her the independence that she needs. And so these programs are indeed extremely important. Okay, so the board approved the expansion of the LIFE program, and this includes County Connection and WestCat. The launch of the County Connection program will start in July 2024. We have made marketing progress, flyers on vehicles, staggered IVR messages, which are the interactive voice response messages, and these messages go out to passengers who qualify their phones to remind them. And they also have on-hold messages so that when they call, they advertise about it. There's also a link online for the application form on their website. They've had a few challenges. They're waiting on their contractor Transdev to finish the back-end development of their Trapeze system, which is their scheduling software system. And the reason why they have this particular challenge is because County Connection has advanced payment systems. They have tickets, but they rarely use them. They make use of their advanced payment system, which actually is easier because it saves money on postage. So if, when the individual calls to actually book their ride, and we know that this ride is going to be paid for by a life ticket, they can actually just choose a funding source in the system. It carries all the way through to the driver. The driver confirms that he did not receive a ticket or cash for this, and then it's reconciled on the back end. And so there was a little tweaking that needs to be done to their Trapeze system in order for this to work, including them creating a funding source. They need to do a little bit of extra work to make sure that the prepaid fare account can be kept separate from all other prepaid accounts. Because the other prepaid accounts, they're receiving checks or credit card payments, whereas this one, it's kind of in the air. The bucket is actually empty. So we're creating a kind of a phantom cash to put in there. So it's a little bit of a tweak on the scheduling side, but they're expected to launch July 20 of 24. And that is my update on programs.
I bet there are
Take
comments,
questions.
but I'd be wrong. Well, I'm going to make a comment, which is, out of those reports, only one of them was really depressing. And so that's a pretty good average. So thank you. Since everybody is not talking, and I better check online and with Supervisor Burgess.
I just want to say, aren't we so lucky to have people that care so deeply about the work they do? I'm really just very proud of getting to work with all of you.
Back at you. Okay. Alrighty. Well, that is another example of how staff is trying to keep us fully appraised, I never know which word to use, on what's going on. And Rashida, thank you so much for carrying. And I believe I'm speaking for everybody else because their heads are nodding. So if there are no other things that we need to do, we are now moving to adjournment. And I'm going to ask, hardly ever has this ever happened before, but I'm going to ask that we give Rashida a round of applause. All righty. See y'all again on October 10th.